It's been 4 weeks and they're still on my head. This is 3 days after my dreadlocks were started, May 1st, 2018, and you can see that my dreads are all still very neat and tidy. They're in their little sections, they have a little bit of fuzz, but not a lot. The ends, you'll notice, are wispy, so the dread doesn't go all the way down to the end. I counted the night before and I have 54 baby dreads on my head. At this point, they started to itch pretty bad though, and I was waiting and holding out to wash them for the very first time. Overall, they look really good. This is 1 week after getting my dreads started. I got my first loop, which was really exciting. You can see the dreads are a little fluffier, hair's coming out of the sections, and that progressively gets worse over the first month. I washed them 2 or 3 days before this clip for the first time at 5 days after being started, and that was simply because they were starting to itch really bad. Overall, the dreads are still very well defined in their individual sections. They definitely don't hurt, and when I sleep on them, I wear them typically in a wrap, but by the end of the night, the wrap has fallen off my head. This is 2 weeks after my dreadlocks got started, and I washed my hair that day and then promptly put it in a ponytail and rode my bike to work. So the shape is a little weird, but you can see the dreads are starting to look a little tighter just after even 2 weeks. The ends are still very wispy, as you can tell, and fuzzier than the previous week, simply because washing your hair causes loose hairs to come out. You can see how my hair has a different shape simply because of the ponytail that it was in all day. Overall, the dreads look like normal hair still. So this is about 3 weeks after being started, and you can see the dreads have started to tighten up and there's still more loose hair. The dreads in the middle of my head, kind of towards the back, seem to be the tightest. So around my face and at the nape of my neck are a little bit looser. You'll see as I pull my hair up how the baby dreads in the middle look a little bit tighter, starting to get there, but still definitely young dreads. And still a lot of loose hair on the top and in the back of my head. This is officially 4 weeks after my dreadlocks were started, and you can see around my face especially, the hairs are starting to come out of the dreads. At this point, I had only washed them about 3 times, and between washes, every day I spray them with distilled water and essential oils just because I like the smell and it makes me feel a little bit more awake in the morning, and then I'll shake out my head. You'll definitely see here my dreads are very crazy looking. I love them this way. I was using a normal hair tie up until this point. You could see that the top of the dread and the bottom of a dread, it's a lot tighter. In the middle, it looked like straight normal hair. So I texted Layla and she mentioned that if I got a bigger hairband that could help with relieving some of that compression in the middle of my dread. You can see how the dreads are forming pretty nicely in the back, and I'm excited to continue watching their progress. Overall, I'm still really loving my hair. It's super crazy and weird, which is fine. I wear it up most days. I wore it up most days without having my dreadlocks started, so that's not much of a change for me. What is a change is having all the volume, like having hair that doesn't just like lay flat on my head. I've never had that before, and I really love like feeling the little dreadlocks in there. Every single night I run my fingers through my hair and touch all my dreadlocks, see how everything's going. It's almost like checking in with each one individually because they're all totally different. And I've also noticed like where they're at on my head feels different. So the ones at the top of my head feel different than the ones kind of in the middle of my head or the ones at the base of my neck, you know? And so they're all developing and changing in their own ways. And I think that's really, really cool. It's very crazy. As you can see, I feel like sometimes I am a jellyfish because all the little wispy end tentacles will just like encompass my head. Especially if they're wet, they all drip and stuff. I love them. They are awesome. The front is still very loose. It kind of looks like just regular hair that you can brush, but then as soon as I lift them up, you can see all of these little baby dreads. They're all hanging out on my head still. Can't wait to see how they change and develop. I hope to continue putting out regular updates because I know a lot of people are very curious, especially about straight hair and how it dreads. I was curious about it too. It's really fun going through the process. I totally wish I would have done this years and years ago. I had been researching dreadlocks for years. I'm happy to go into more detail about why I wanted dreadlocks in a separate video. I got that question on my last video of starting my dreadlocks about my journey and why I wanted them, so I'm happy to make a video about that. Subscribe to this channel because I'm going to be putting out more dreadlock videos and updates for you. Ask me any questions that you have. I'd love to know if you have dreadlocks, what your experience has been like. I'd love to know the reaction from your family and friends because that has been an interesting thing for me. So let me know, and I will see you next time. Bye!